Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Mismatch. Today I'm very excited that we have Daniel Reyes-Cocka in the house. So he's a national lifestyle expert, and I'd like to say national treasure, on some of your favorite morning TV shows in Canada that you have probably seen him on. He also is a content creator of over 13 years. So if you haven't seen him on TV, you've definitely seen him online. Now he strives to live his fabulous life as authentic as possible online and really make safe spaces for vulnerable and hard conversations in his 40s. Now, because the world needs more reasons to feel seen just as much as they need to feel entertained, this is why he's sitting here in studio with me today. And we're going to talk about love, loss, rebuilding, and so much more. Daniel, it's so good to have you here.
Good morning, honey. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. Immediately when you launched, I was like, I need to be on this podcast.
You're so sweet, and I just adore you. I want to take people back to when we first met at Lash Gods. Shout out to Lash God Nail
Lash
Salon.
Gods, yes.
We were sitting, I think you were getting a pedicure, and I was getting a refill.
Yeah.
And we just became like the most instant fast friends like ever.
Yes, that's true. And it's so funny because it wasn't even like something for content. We just were both there personally and just clicked, which I love. Shout out to Rachel. Love her.
Shout out. Love her.
Rachel? Raquel. Sorry.
Close.
Sorry, Raquel. I'm so sorry.
We love Raquel. But yeah, and it's so nice to have been in touch and kind of seeing your life from a distance. But as I was mentioning, like you've gone through a lot of things in the time that I have known you.
Yeah. And
so, where are you at right now? Let's start there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so 2026 was definitely a bumpy start to the year. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I got to a point, I think, in my career after doing this for over a decade that it kind of it didn't feel like I was meshing with it anymore. The passion was sort of being lost. We live in a very saturated world in the content creation space.
For sure.
And I decided, okay, F this. Sorry, we can say it. We can swear.
We
can
swear.
This. Fuck this. And I was like, I'm going to retire. I'm going to change my name. I want to distance myself from my ex-husband as much as possible and just give myself a fresh start. And for about 6 weeks, I tried to sort of navigate what that looked like. And like, I had changed my name on all my social medias because I was going to change my name legally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like
you went as far as wanting to change your entire
my
identity.
first name and my last name. I completely wanted a fresh start.
Really?
And that was... At the time, I felt like it was the right decision to make, but it was a very impulsive decision just because I can be impulsive, and life is impulsivity and being human and making mistakes. And then about 6 weeks later, I said, whoops, I made a mistake. I changed my mind. And that kind of just repositioned me. And now I feel a lot more strong in who I am as a person. So I'm still a content creator. I still do TV. But right now I'm in the process of shopping for a literary agent, and I'm going to get my first book published this year.
Yes, you are. I'm so excited for you for that.
Thank you.
So let me ask you then, what was the moment that you realized, like, shit, I can't change my name? Like, there's a reason I have, like, this name carries so much weight of history and legacy and learnings.
And I think, okay, so it's two pronged. Okay. So the first prong is, I took my ex-husband's last name when we got married. And my career for the majority of what I've been doing has been Daniel Reyes-Cocka. And that is... all of my TV segments are linked to that name. Most of the content, that all of my SEO that I've paid tens of thousands of dollars over the year for is all linked to that. Mm-hmm. And when I wanted to give myself like the quit and the retirement that I wanted, I thought, okay, fresh start, clean slate, let's stop that. So when I looked back and I thought, okay, but if I want to get my book published still, doing it under a fresh name, a publisher probably won't like. Let's be honest, it is a business. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of scandals over the years. Sometimes I'm vulnerable to a flaw. Let's just say that. And I've tried to learn to navigate that as best as I could while still being human and authentic, because I always want to be very authentic with my readers and my followers. So then I thought, yeah, I just can't give this up. And a couple of people that I've talked to in the publishing world as well have said, like, if you are going to publish this book and it's going to talk about your career and your life and your marriage and your divorce, that's the name we have to put it out under, which is fair. Yeah. I shouldn't say there's none left, because I can never say that I won't always have a part of my life that I very much loved about being married, but this is now a more professional decision than anything else.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. I can totally understand that. So can we talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So, okay. How did you meet? How long were you married for? Yeah. Walk me through this chapter of your life.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to date myself now. I'm 43 years old in October.
You look 20, okay? For the record,
thanks.
if anyone is just listening and not watching, you're going to go to the YouTube right now to see what he looks
Go
like.
check. I mean, thank you for the compliment. So I moved to Toronto in 2012. It was the third time that I had moved from Ottawa because I spent most of my teenage years in Ottawa. And I moved with two girlfriends. We moved into this falling apart house at Davenport and Dupont. I think we paid $600 a month in rent. It was caving in the kitchen. They were like, don't step in the middle of the kitchen. I was like, where am I living? And I had been previously engaged prior to meeting my now ex-husband.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So in Ottawa, you were in love. And
I was in love.
someone.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was engaged prior, and
how come it didn't work out?
I think I was stuck in the mentality that a lot of us get into where I wanted to be married by 25, have kids by 30, have my dream job by 35. Like I had this plan, right?
Yeah.
Because we're told that as we grow up.
Right? Isn't it the most toxic
It's
thing?
exhausting.
I blame Disney.
I agree.
Because I was a Disney princess whore.
Okay, love that.
And in all of the early Disney, now they're a little bit more, they're branching out and doing much
They're
better.
better for your mental health,
right?
let's be honest.
Much better, much better. But I was the kid that like slow danced with an imaginary prince in my basement watching the
Yes.
Cinderella to Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
you name it. And I now live with that.
Well, there's programming that comes with that, right? Because we are habitualized to we see the things that are portrayed about what love is supposed to be and how you're supposed to fall in love and that against all odds, fight for love. And so, that's kind of where my mentality was. So my ex-fiance prior to my marriage and I split up. I took the time I needed to heal, moved to Toronto. And then I was not looking for a relationship any way, shape, or form. I like to tell this story. It's actually a very romantic one. So a friend of mine and my now ex-husband were having champagne one night on Instagram. And here I'm doom scrolling at home. And I click on the profile and I was like, well, he's really handsome. Mm-hmm. And then I followed him on Twitter. At the time, I had a personal blog before a professional one.
Yes, you did.
And I had a locked account on Twitter because I had 200 followers. I thought I was a Kardashian. I literally was like... 200 people follow me. Oh my God, I'm famous. So I slid into his DMs and I was like, hey, if I could be so ballsy, can I ask you out for coffee?
Oh, wow, that is ballsy.
Oh, but get ready because I'm a full romantic Disney prince myself. So
I love that. Though.
So we met, we started dating. He was in content and I studied conventional marketing in school. I didn't know what a blogger was. I didn't know and I remember going to my first event and I was
because that still wasn't really a thing.
It wasn't a thing
still
back
very
then.
Early
yeah.
days.
And he had been doing it for a couple of years because he is one of the first fashion bloggers in the country and he's excellent at what he does. And a year to the day, get ready for this, a year to the day after we met, because we did click very easily, very quickly, I proposed via Instagram on the day, to the minute. So I posted a photo of the Tiffany's ring and I got down on one knee. I had hired a photographer. We captured the whole thing. Yeah. So it was very much this online fairy tale romance that we just sort of lived our lives online together. And as we all know, relationships and marriages are not easy. I think we're sold that idea as well.
For sure.
And we had our problems. And some of them were very public. And I take accountability for making mistakes, sharing things too honestly sometimes, because I think you can just say that you're having problems. You don't need to give the dirty details and shame anybody. And that's not why I'm here today either.
So you were sharing the problems as
pretty openly. Okay. And there was a lot of them over the years. We were together for... Last year would have been our 10th wedding anniversary. So we were together almost as long as I've been blogging. Actually, as long as I've been blogging.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. And especially if you do the math, it's in gay, that's 13, but in straight, that's 50. So that's about the equivalent, the exchange rate. And unfortunately, it just came to a breaking point where something bad happened again. And he decided that he was going to leave. And that was really hard. It was really hard to navigate. It was hard to navigate personally, let alone professionally, because all of a sudden my entire life changed. I was actively doing TV. I had a lot of work to do on my mental health, my physical health, my emotional health, and I had to do it in tandem with keeping up a career, which is not easy to do. You know this.
Especially if you're public.
Yeah, you've lived
hard.
this. It is extremely difficult because you don't want to be disingenuous. You want to be vulnerable with the people that have loved you and followed you and supported you over the years. And so we separated for a year. Then we did a non-contested divorce because I didn't feel like making this any harder on anybody. And we've we've crossed paths since our separation and divorce. We are not on good terms. Unfortunately, it's just not a place that my heart is ready to be with anyone in that circumstance.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything bad to say about him. And I would never want anyone to think that my upcoming book is going to be a tell-all that sort of reads our dirty secrets out loud again. Like, I've done that. I've made that mistake. I don't want to do that anymore.
So what made you reflect and realize that that was a mistake? Because I think, I mean, you're always warned, like, are you sure you want to post that? Are you sure you want to do that? That's going to live online forever.
Yeah.
But like, it really is difficult to weigh out the being vulnerable and honest with a community.
Yeah. And
then also, you know, like protecting what's personal.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to admit this about myself, but I think it's so important to take accountability in the mistakes that we make in a relationship, which I did make some, and I take
really.
Full
I thought you were perfect.
Oh God, I wish. For any single cute boys out there, I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty fabulous. I think it was having really good friends. I have a very small circle now. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize that I have a lot of acquaintances and a lot of colleagues, but not a lot of friends.
I could not agree with you more.
Yeah, and that's why like our relationship as we become closer over the years is so important to me because I mean, you're part of the close friends on Instagram. You know what I mean? You've seen the crash outs that happen a couple of times. There's about 30 of you out there that see me go full emo. But I also, it's just not fair to myself to live in that anymore or to hold someone accountable who didn't want to be in a relationship with me anymore. Because I mean, there's a lot of like, I sort of alternate in between. You see the memes online where it was like, they showed you, you showed them the love they never had, but they showed you why they never had it. And like, that feels pretty factual. And that's not really nice to say, but it's just the reality of how we ended.
Totally.
And I, again, no harm, no ill will. I send only love to him and his family. But I also know that like the whole truth of what happened has never been told to everybody that knows our story. And that's not my story to tell. So, you know what I mean? I fought for that marriage for a very long time. I lived through divorce, which probably was harder than anything I've ever experienced other than losing my dad very suddenly. And I like to think that I've become stronger for it and that my audience, my followers, my readers eventually of the book and the people who like to watch me on television and the brands that pay my bills, let's be honest, can see the strength in working with somebody that's human and vulnerable and honest.
100%. Yeah. I think like that's why people feel so connected to you because you always have led with that approach in everything that you do, whether it be like a relationship, a friendship, a work job, whatever it is. But for you, so then like, how did you deal with the grief? Well, I talk about relationship grief first. Yeah. Because I know grief is grief, but there's also different levels and kinds.
Yeah.
Because as you said, you worked to keep it, right? As most people would. And so when you lose that, it feels like defeat.
It does.
And that's
feels
sometimes
like a failure.
really hard, exactly,
I agree.
to accept and let go of. I'm not good at letting go.
Yeah, me neither. I'm going to be honest. I mean, there are still, I don't want to get into super intimate details because again, I've learned that lesson, but there was moments up until late last year where I was still trying to do grand gestures to show this person that I wanted them to be in my life.
Yeah.
And that's hard for a lot of my friends that have seen the good and the bad equally in
of
full
course, because
transparency.
your friends are like, you're so upset, move on. And, and it's so easy for people to say that.
I mean, but again,
like, you need to go through
a relationship of almost, I mean, I don't like to round up because I always but like of 13 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
That's, I mean, a fourth of my life, right? It was the person that I saw myself having kids with. It was, and I think that was the deeper wound for me that I've been working through with my therapist is that you don't just mourn the person, you mourn the person that they could have been in their potential, but you also mourn the life that you were planning with them.
I have goosebumps because I could not relate to that more.
Yeah, I think, it was coming to terms with the fact this year specifically has been the hardest lesson for me that the chances are, unless I meet somebody who already has kids, I'm probably not going to get to have kids. And that's been a huge loss for me to work through because it's very hard to do it on your own. Surrogacy is completely out of the question financially on my own right now. Like it's almost $200,000 from start to finish in Canada. Wow. And adoption is an option, but I'm 43. Do I want to be the 7-year-old dad at high school graduations, right? Mm-hmm. So It's not to say that I can't and I won't ever, but I'm coming to terms with the fact that I probably won't. And so that's been a little bit of a loss this year that I'm kind of working through. So
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay. I'd rather have that honest conversation. And those are the things we have to work through, right?
100%. If I can provide any sort of support, I would say that I'm kind of going through the same thing right now of like understanding like, oh, I'm not married with kids at this age where I thought that I would be. So what does my life look like without that?
Yeah.
Like how can I fill that if that doesn't happen for me?
Right.
You know, and like, you know, as a woman, like I can freeze my eggs and do the things. And like I'm planning on doing that towards the end of this year. But in saying that, it still doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
And similar to what you said, I don't want to do it alone. That's not why I want to do it. I want to be a mom to share that with my husband.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or my partner, whatever it is. So in wrapping my head around that, there has been like, it's emotional. It's really hard because what you thought your life was going to go is no longer.
Yeah.
But in saying that, it also means that you have an opportunity to design something else for yourself that might just give you a different kind of happiness.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think one of the most beautiful moments through the process of grief and working through the emotions of letting go, and I have to be honest, it's been 2 years last week since my divorce, it's been a couple of years and not enough years for me to say that I am completely over this situation. I think
How can you be? This person made an imprint literally on you. Like it doesn't just go away.
And I think that there is something to be said for, in the beginning, we all like to fight the grief because it's very hard to accept, but it's kind of like a wave and it will sometimes just come at you out of nowhere and you've got to learn to ride it and not run from it. Right? Angelina Jolie has that really famous quote online that it's like, what's the thing that you can tell people going through it? And she says, go right through it.
Go right through it because there's no way around it.
I used to run from grief in really unhealthy ways.
How do you run from grief?
I mean, I had substance issues when I was in my 20s and 30s, and that is something that I've talked about very openly online. I was an emotional eater. When I was single, I would turn to having sex and to the distractions that life offers you because it's easy to have those quick little scratches and to be like, I'm fine. And then not realize that like later on it's just going to compound, right? So working through the emotional difficulties and knowing that there is life after divorce or after a bad breakup and that, yes, it's not the life that you thought you were going to have, but it might be even better is a really beautiful moment to have.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's one thing, and here's the thing, you really have to be ready for it because it's one thing to say it over and over again and try and convince yourself of something, but it's a whole other thing when you like in your gut and soul like believe that. Like it really is a different sense of peace that you have than moving forward.
I think you hit the nail on the head this morning when we were talking before recording, is that it's also very hard to hear the things that are being said about you from the people that used to be a part of your life, right? And the way that you are painted. And again, I think we all do this to some degree because it's how we try to get through life in hard moments. It's easy to put somebody in a box and say, well, it was entirely their fault, or that they're the bad guy, or this was only on them. And that's not really the case most of the time, right? There are two sides to every coin. There are two people in a relationship. Things are hard. And if you don't have the communication or the emotional capacity to take it on and to work through it, that's when the crack starts to show. And eventually cracks become chasms. And that's sort of what ultimately I had to work through. And I mean, now I like to live my life online as fabulously as I can. I'm actually, funny enough, I got accepted to do a queer dating YouTube series.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to be filming in a couple of weeks.
What is that even? So walk me through what that is.
Yeah. Okay. So I basically saw the online pitch for like casting.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's going to be a full day series. We're going to cut it up into a couple of pieces. And like, we're just inviting different people from the queer community to come and like meet new people. And we're going to film the experience.
Oh my God. I love that. Like speed dating.
Kind of. Yeah. But like documented online. And obviously I have a brand online that I'm sure will help to amplify the series. But like, I've not actively been dating as aggressively as I think some people have expected me to. I've been open to the idea of it. I've had people ask me out on dates and kind of fizzle out, as the world that we live in is when being single.
Right.
It's kind of the worst. But I'm just not on the apps because I don't think I'm ready for that yet. And there's also, as you know, living our life in the public eye, when you meet somebody new, you have to kind of give them like the PSAs, right? Like, one, I live in the media, so you're gonna be seen. Yeah. Two, my ex is also known in the media, so they're gonna see you. And it just like, it starts to feel like you're more of a warning label than you are a person.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. So this series kind of felt like, give it a try.
Yeah.
So why not?
Nothing to lose. Oh, I'm excited for you.
Who knows? Maybe I have a second husband on the way. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it.
There's always something. There's always going to be something or someone that kind of pops up and like reignites like the hope and instills that like faith. Like I just went on a date that was so good. Like I went on
I want
like
to hear all about it.
a really nice dinner. Like conversation was great, constant laughter. There was no expectations in doing this, so that's why I think it was also so much fun.
I love those moments.
And then we went dancing afterwards.
Oh my God, I can't wait to hear
like,
all the. There's going to be dirty details off camera.
Like literally, when I say like I felt like I walked into a scene of Dirty Dancing, that's like what it felt like, and it was so fun. And it was like so many different kinds of people there.
Yeah.
And it was just like a really good night.
I'm so happy to hear that.
And it was like I walked away from it being like, even if I never see this person again, I have like newfound hope in
and it
the male species.
That, like, you almost get this sense of like, oh, I kind of deserve to have these moments still, right? Because I think going back to what you said, it's the grief, it's the blaming yourself when something goes wrong, and then all of a sudden you start thinking, well, maybe I am the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And especially when you're
I
told
am the
by your
problem.
ex.
It's me.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Swifties, hey. But I think when you have an ex and a situation where you are constantly told that you're the problem, you start to believe that as well.
For sure.
Right? That you're the only problem. You are the only one. You can't let it go. You can't move on. You can't. And like, that's not really fair to say to another person. So I try to lead with that when I do meet somebody new. And just like, I love that story. And I can't wait to tell you about when I start filming. And like,
can't wait
it's going to be fun. It's going to be really
you're
fun.
definitely coming back here.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yes.
Obviously, we want more of you. Okay, so what are some of the things that you did, Daniel, then or that you have been doing because you're still in this process to like get yourself back to being Daniel?
Okay, so it was again, I had to do drastic things to change my life because
what's drastic?
Well, drastic for example, so I don't love to share this number, but I'll share it with you. I've lost 110 pounds in the last 10 years, or not, last 2 years, I should say.
That's significant.
Yeah, and I
also like that's really
it's a big
hard
accomplishment,
work.
and it was a lot of hard work. So I had 2 mental health practitioners working with me right away when the separation and ultimately the divorce happened because I needed that.
Did you seek that out? You're like, I need help.
Yeah. So I had a therapist that I had been working with like haphazardly, but I was like, I'm going to need you on like a bi-weekly basis because we're going to need to work through this together. I had my family doctor.
For you.
At the time, I was on an antidepressant, and I needed to make sure that it was the right dose so that I could maintain sort of some stability in my life.
For sure.
And then I was like, okay, if we're gonna work on me, it's got to be inside and out. So it was physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. The weight loss and physical fitness was something that is a good outlet for me now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm constantly talking about going to spinning because that's sort of like my hour just to myself. I wear a sweat vest because I'm a crazy person and I like double up on the heat. But like I wanted to lean into things that made me happy and brought me joy. So like little moments of joy were really important to try and find in every day. Because you know this, hustling like an entrepreneur, you can sit at your computer for 18 hours a day, not eat, take care of yourself. And it's like, well, what did I do to make myself happy today?
Yeah.
Right?
What did I actually do for me? And there's a line because you're like, but my work is me.
Yes.
But no, like doing things
just
that
for
are
me.
not that.
Yeah, that's just for Nicole and just for
different.
Daniel, right? That's it.
I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
So what was that journey like? Because did you have like a goal in mind?
So,
like how did this fitness become a focus for you or an outlet for you?
Right. And
I think, like that's significant. That's a significant life change.
Yeah. And I think, so first of all, I should not say I'm not a fitness influencer in any way, shape, or form.
I mean,
I'm not, I don't have the 6-pack yet, but I'm working on it.
You look great.
Thank you. So I knew my family runs heavy on both sides, both my late father's side and my mom's side. And I don't like the term battled with my body because it makes it seem like it's combative. But like I have struggled with my self-esteem, my personal appearance, and just my weight in general for many, many years. And I'm not here to cause any issues. I am not fat shaming. I am not encouraging diet culture. Like that's not what. But like, so I talked to my family doctor, and then I worked with a partner that I was able to obviously like make some money around as well. But I started with a GLP-1. So I started on Wegovy, which is like a sister to Ozempic and like Mounjaro and those kind of drugs.
Yeah.
Semaglutide. I don't. I'm gonna mispronounce that. GLP-1s. And
so what is it like an injection?
It's an injection.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the first 6 months, that helped me really regulate my body. And for me, the experience involved, so they talk about something called food noise. And for people that emotionally eat or that have that overeat in stressful situations, essentially like in the middle of the night.
Which I think a lot of people can relate to. I know people are like extreme in certain scenarios, but I mean, I think a lot of people can relate to feeling like that.
Well, so for me, it was I was emotionally eating when I was unhappy when I was still married, and then I knew I couldn't keep doing that.
Yeah.
I think there is a certain amount of vanity that comes with it, let's be honest.
For sure.
Because you want to feel attractive and open to the idea of meeting new people who also find you attractive.
For sure. That's why there is such thing as a glow up post breakup.
Yeah,
Everybody says that.
Like,
because you want to like be your best self.
Yeah, and I like the idea of a glow up versus a revenge body, because a revenge body feels like it's anchored in the wrong emotion.
Exactly.
I'm
out
not
of
here
spite,
I'm not
which
here
is
to
never
hurt
healthy.
No,
to
I don't.
Do that.
I'm not here to hurt anybody or to be like, screw you, you missed out on the best thing ever. No,
Yeah.
that's an unhealthy thing to live in for me.
Totally.
Sometimes that works for people. If that's your ambition, that helps you get through something, more power to you, girl.
You do you.
That's right, exactly. But I started with GLP-1s. I started working out more regularly. The GLP-1s helped with the overeating and the food noise. To get back to that, is when you get really stressed out, sometimes all you can think about is food.
Yeah.
And then you eat because obviously chemically it's satisfying something in your body.
Right.
The GLP-1 helped eliminate that for me. So I was eating smaller portions. I was watching what I was eating as well.
Okay.
And in tandem with lifestyle changes, it really started.
It was like an all-encompassing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I have loved every iteration of me and every body that I've ever had. I can look back now proudly and be like, he was still a beautiful person.
Yeah.
But now I just embody it and feel it a little bit more inside and out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's like a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
And effort.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, there is obviously vanity involved in it. I also, at the same time, over the course of the 2 years, got a beard transplant. So,
hold on.
Yeah, that's a thing.
This is interesting.
It's a thing. So
a beard transplant.
A beard transplant. So like you see a lot of guys when they go to like Turkey and they do the hairlines. So there's a clinic here in Toronto called Padra Clinic Canada at Young and Bloor, and they were a business from the United Arab Emirates.
Okay, of course.
They, well,
So
because
they
in
know
that
what they're
community
doing.
it's so important, right? To have like a beautiful, sexy
thick.
beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are pretty thick. You're welcome. But they essentially, it's the same process. So I built them in as a partner. And over the course of 2 days, it was 16 hours. They harvest from the back of your head.
16 hours.
They put the hairs in individually. I think they told me after.
Hurt?
Oh, it was unpleasant.
Did they put like numbing?
Okay, I should say, sorry. I'm gonna give them full endorsement of what it actually is.
Please tell me they numb.
So so it is local anesthesia. So basically every day you go in, they put like a
Like a
lot
topical
of
cream?
No, they injected it to you.
Oh, okay.
Like when you go get teeth
Your
work
mouth
done.
frozen. Yeah.
But the problem was, and addressing again the fact that like in my younger years, let's just say substances were involved, my body processes those things much faster. So by the second day, I could feel every hair. Let's say that. And I was like, oh, this is a lot. But I mean, look at the results. I look great.
You look great.
Yeah.
I would never know.
The only difference, like, and most of the boys that I've met over the years, is that it's head hair. So it's very soft. So
that's nice.
Yeah, it's not the bristly, like
yeah, like
5
the
o'clock
pokey
shadow.
beard hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So like I've really done a lot of things that were for me to make me feel more like me.
Yeah.
That I think over the years a lot of people have judged. Like, I mean, I've been doing Botox for 10 years. Not aggressively.
Yeah.
But like I have also been getting derma fillers. So like I get my jaw rounded out a little bit just to like accentuate my jawline. Because when I was heavier, I had a much rounder face. And then when I lost all the weight, it was very long.
Right.
So I wanted to if you think about it, it is gender affirming care, right? That's
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I do Botox as well.
Yes. I think preventative is perfect.
Right?
Like,
I'm like, why do I want
incredible
creased
for the record. Like,
thank you.
yeah.
That's very kind. But I don't think I've ever shared this actually. This is the first time I'm saying
there we go.
this. But
saw
I
it here
believe in
first.
preventative measures.
Yes.
I always say, I'm like, I still want to be able to move my face
1,000%.
just a little less because I don't want the creasy. I'm really expressive with my emotions. So I was like, when I stand like this for 5 minutes, it's probably not a good thing that there's like a constant
Well, for me, it's
line
I think the one that I get treated a lot, and you can't see it today just because my hair is a little too long for the pod, but is I sit at the computer and I frown a lot. So then you get the worry
constantly,
line, right? Yeah. And the advances are so good now. Like you can do like basically plastic surgery free facelifts. Like they can put Botox in certain areas that like lift your eyes and like lift your cheeks back. And it's like,
it's remarkable.
I have the best girl ever here in Toronto. I only trust her with my face. Yeah. Shout out to Liz at Skin 6. She's incredible.
Okay.
Yeah, she's incredible. I love her.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's so funny. My sister-in-law's sister, so really she's my sister as well, but she always makes me laugh because whenever like I'm like tense or like anybody around her, honestly, she's adopted this, is like, using their face in like an intense emotion.
Yes.
She'll say, relax your face and then continue. No one needs the line.
Oh my God, that's so fun. No one needs the
line.
lines.
Only the smile line.
That's right.
That's what I support.
I mean, like I will say a shout out to my ex. He was always very adamant about like sunscreen and like skincare and all those kinds of things. And I did adopt a lot of those habits as well. So like that does help with the way that we look. I think you and I are blessed enough to work in an industry that like we're on camera a lot, right? Yeah. We know the things that are going to work. I mean, those red light masks, love them.
You know
so
what?
much.
I was just saying this the other day. I have one, but I've never used it.
Okay, so I got sent.
I feel like I look at people. I'm like, does this really make a difference? Is this doing something?
I will say it does. So I've worked with Thermobody. They're like the leaders, right?
Okay.
Like I know that Shark obviously has one that just came out with like hot and cold, and like that's fine. But like it's like I think it's 10 minutes a day. And it just increases collagen flow. And that to me is the most important thing. As we get older, I mean, I will notice my skin is...
keep that stimulated. That's the importance of youth.
Exactly. Like, do I have like the massagers and like all... No, that's a little much for me.
Yeah.
If my routine is more than 20 minutes, it's not happening.
Well, I was just going to say that. I'm like, I don't have the time. I watch like get ready with me videos or like get ready for bed. And I spend the time watching the video. Which is also like
probably should
very
follow along.
counterintuitive
exactly.
because I could be doing it at the same time, but it's beyond. I'm like, I don't have the patience or time for that. Also, like at this point, like I'm so tired that I just want to like wash my face and jump into bed.
Fair.
Like,
I mean, for me, the big one, especially like in the winter, like today's a cold day while we're recording, like my skin gets really red, and I'm always really impressed with like male beauty creators that can like do a quick little 5-minute contour. I wish I had the patience. I'm just too scared, and I know that I would probably come out looking ridiculous. I'd be like 2 shades of foundation too light, and then have like blush on my lips. It would just be atrocious.
No, you have great skin. You honestly don't need anything.
Thank you for saying that.
Skin.
I appreciate that.
It's true.
Very lucky that I didn't have a lot of acne when I was in my teens. So like I didn't get the acne scarring.
Yeah.
So that is another reason why people are always like, oh my God, you look so young. And I was like, I do make the joke sometimes because I deflect about body weight because I feel like it's so hot right now that I'm like, my trick is that I get heavy and then I lose all the weight and it's kind of like an accordion. So then my skin just sucks back in. I mean, it's not a bad result. Let's be honest. Like,
take the compliment.
Take the compliments. That's right.
I also struggle with that.
Yeah.
When someone says like, it's so funny. Someone will say like, oh, you look great. I'll be like, oh, I washed my hair today.
Right.
Or they'll say, you know, that's a really nice outfit. I'll say like, oh, it was only $10. Like,
see, this is I'm going to call you out for it. This is such a women thing.
I
mean,
know,
I love
really
all of you, but
with
every
that.
time I have a female friend that I give a compliment to, and I'm like, you look gorgeous. And then she deflects. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. Like, just take the compliment, own the energy, right? Yeah. We look our best. We are living our best lives in a new direction than we thought we were going to. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to take the compliment. I just don't like the equation of skinny is happy. That's the only thing that I will say I don't appreciate.
Because
like,
it's not the truth.
It's not.
It's not the truth. In a similar way of when someone is extremely overweight and someone is extremely thin, they're probably not okay.
I agree.
Most times, honestly.
And I think that it's a case-by-case basis. I mean, I have some incredible friends that are plus size that are way more physically fit than I am. Yeah. Genetics plays a lot into this. 100%. Right?
I was just going to say that. Like, and then sometimes you see a girl who weighs 90 pounds and she's so happy, but that's just like her natural body is that, you know?
I think from plus and minus, I have been about 140 pounds heavier than what I am now and 60 pounds lighter. So, and I've lived those varieties of me very publicly online. Wow. So my body fluctuates a lot, and my family doctor is very pleased with the results of me doing a GLP-1. And again, consult your family doctor. This is not medical advice. Yeah. But like, I've stayed consistently the same size for a couple of years now, and he's like, that's so good for your organs.
I was just gonna say,
your internal health.
You want to try and find your medium ground of where you feel good, like internally and like that's really important to have that consistency.
Absolutely.
Because your
I
body
just keep thinking about the Disney princess thing, and I just need to shout out the fact that Ariel and Eric were my first crush, and I'm thinking about every one of my exes, and they all look like Eric. Well, thank you, Disney.
I too love The Little Mermaid. I actually played The Little Mermaid in a production, so I know every song.
Okay, all right.
Through.
I have an Ursula mug. You've seen it on my content. Like, people are always like, "Where'd you get it?" I'm like, "Well, the Disney store doesn't exist in Canada anymore."
Which is really sad.
Yeah, I know. They got to bring it back. But like, Ursula was my favorite. I look back now and I'm like, the drag queen of The Little Mermaid. Obviously, she was my favorite character. Like,
she was probably the first.
She was. She absolutely was. I was obsessed with that character.
Right?
So funny.
It was so good. That's so funny. I love that.
I love it too. We're Disney girlies. It's all right.
Right? Yeah. We'll own it.
Yes, absolutely. But I also, like you said, going back to like mental health, I love that the stories now are becoming more about mental health. Now, I heard of somebody online talking about this recently. They were like, yeah, but kids don't understand the trauma we lived. I was like, no, a parent always died in one of those movies. Like why
or an animal. I just was telling the story of Bambi scarred the shit out of me when
Mufasa?
I was
like
Mufasa.
unacceptable.
Terrible.
Unacceptable.
That was devastating. I
Yeah.
think I cried as a child the first time.
Okay, so I don't know if it's
that.
Disney, but did you ever watch Land Before Time when we were kids?
Oh my God, bawled my eyes out.
Well, apparently
Bawled
they're
my
bringing it
eyes
back,
out.
and I was like, so we're going to traumatize a whole new generation now. It's basically what I was like, the leaf. If I see a leaf, I'm bawling. That's it. Like,
I also cried in that movie as well.
Yeah, they were like tough lessons as kids to watch those movies sometimes. And now I feel like maybe, yes, mental health is important and independence. I do love the whole, like, you don't need a prince to save you vibe.
Yes,
I live for that.
I love that storyline.
Yes. But, like, maybe let's not go back to, like, killing all the parents. I don't know. I feel like there's a happy ground in there somewhere.
There's gotta be. But, you know, maybe it built resilience in us.
That's true. I will say that.
Of
like,
understanding tragedy at a very young age.
I think our demographic.
Developing that empathy
100%.
towards a dinosaur.
Yeah,
you know?
a dinosaur or a lion.
Or a lion.
Yeah. Or poor Bambi. Oh, Bambi.
Poor Bambi.
Poor Bambi. Okay, well, here we are. How'd we get here?
This is what I love about a podcast when we sat down and we were like, so what are we going to talk about today? We're like, I have a couple things, but I just want to see where this goes.
I think easy conversation is so important with people that you connect with, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
you've done a lot of media. I've done a lot of media. And like, if it's not there and it's too scripted, I feel like you get off track, right?
For sure.
You don't
also like, it's just not enjoyable.
I agree.
When you're like reading off something.
Well, you have listeners right now that are listening to you because you've built something this beautiful that makes space for hard conversations. And honestly, that's why when I saw you share about it, I was like, I would be honored to be a part of this because you are
so
making space
sweet.
for people that need to hear these stories and identify with them and have the opportunity to feel seen, right?
Thank you. That really means a lot.
No, I truly mean that, honestly.
Really means a lot. And speaking about grief and different kinds of grief, you mentioned that you had lost your dad.
Yes.
When did that happen? And I'm so sorry
for
your
thank
loss.
you for saying that. I appreciate it. So it actually happened November 29th, 2016. And that I was living in Toronto already. I had moved in with my ex-husband at the time we had gotten married. Oh, it was literally 4 days before our first wedding anniversary.
No.
Yeah. And it's ironic that we're talking about this because that's actually the preface of my book is that day. And I talk about you don't know what it's like to lose a parent until you do. And then that wound always stays with you. It's not as intense, but it changed something in me that day. So, the preface of the book, actually, funny enough, was one of the highest read blog posts I've ever written in 13 years because it is very honest. I write in almost like a internal monologue way. Mm-hmm. So it's very much my thought process through the day, talking about our dog, talking about my now ex, and then it's something that I will forever be grateful.
You lost your dog as well,
Yeah,
right?
I lost my dog a couple of years after that, and she was
sad.
like our baby, right? And so losing a parent is very hard. I am very grateful that I had my ex at the time because
for support.
We were living in Toronto, and my dad, my mom, my brother, and his family all live in Ottawa, and my mom called my now ex, and this is a moment where I am forever grateful that he was in my life because he was there to comfort me through it. He had to break the news to me, which I must imagine must have been extremely hard for him. But to have him there compassionately be there through all of it. Like I had to fly to Ottawa that day. It was like, there was just a lot of things that went into motion very quickly. As I'm sure you've understand when you've had lost somebody that you know, death is a business and it's very fast and it's like you got to jump into mode right away. And
it's like it's so interesting because you're in a state of shock when you lose someone that you love, but then you have to plan.
Yeah.
Like you cry for maybe like the day of trying to digest and like understand what has happened.
Yeah.
But then you're like, okay, we need to do the photos and we need to book this and we need to pick the casket if you know, and all these things that are decisions that the grief actually doesn't even really start happening until all of that is over.
Yeah. I feel like I wasn't in the best place mental health wise at the time anyways. So it felt like I broke a little bit. So the next couple of years were very hard to navigate, both myself as a husband, as a dog dad, as a media personality. Like I really tried my best because again, we've talked about this duplicity of like, you've got to be this online persona, but you also are a human being that's just lost a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
And
Were you super close with your dad?
So it was a complicated relationship. My dad, the four of us in our family, my mom and I are extremely similar. My dad and my brother are extremely similar. They were like very logical and like loved math. yuck. Like, whereas my mom and I are very expressive and have both struggled through a lot of things in life. And so when my dad died, it drastically shifted the dynamic of our family because it was not balanced, but like they had their, and I had me and my mom.
Yeah.
So it really changed the dynamic of our family. And it's still something that we work through as a family. Like, we don't always see eye to eye. Let's say that. And struggling through.
Nobody does though, Daniel,
Yeah.
honestly. Like,
yeah, it's just like, again, you add the layer of like, well, I'm the one who was irresponsible and I would move to Toronto and go on these trips that I couldn't afford and all these. And it was like, that almost bore down on me when my dad passed. And that was challenging to work through as feelings. But when I told my dad that I was gay, my dad and I didn't talk for a very long time, and it felt like an eternity. And
when
it wasn't.
did you come out to your dad?
So I was 21 when I came out. So it like I was.
That's a little bit later.
Yeah, it
for
was later in life.
Did you know for a long time?
I did around 16. And then I just, because I've also survived sexual assault as a child, which is something I talk about in my book.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for saying that. It's still something that I actively work through as an emotion because that's heavy. But when I told my dad and he didn't tell me, it was almost like this abandonment wound opened up again. And then I love my dad so much, honestly, to this day. He flipped. And then he thought that every gay man was going to be my husband. So he would meet a gay person and be like, well, my son's gay too. You should date. And I was like, are you attracted to all women?
That's really sweet, though,
Yeah.
because sometimes it takes people time to process.
Absolutely.
But the fact that, like, he
came around.
and, like, you know, wanted to understand and be supportive.
And he was the most supportive man towards the end of his life. And it was very sudden. I mean, I love how much he loved my ex-husband as well. Like, he was his biggest fan, bigger than me. I say that with love, but like, he really was. But it was, to this day, it's still hard. Like, every November, that day is ingrained in my brain. I'm a very emotional person. So there's weight to certain days of the year.
Of course.
Like, my wedding anniversary is still a hard day to experience as I'm working through those feelings. The death of my dad, the death of my dog, my divorce date, like, all of those things are days that I have waves of grief and I have to acknowledge it, because if I don't acknowledge it and I hide from it, like Angelina said not to, I feel like it just pushes me back a couple of steps.
Yeah, for sure. That's really hard, but also brave to, like, acknowledge that and really, like, say that out loud as well.
Yeah.
So if I can, like, on those days, what do they look like for you? How do you process, you know, do you stay at home in bed all day and cry, or are you calling people?
I think it depends on the day and the year.
Yeah.
I think I try my best to not isolate, because hyper-independence is a trauma response. And it's something that I've become very good at, where I'm like, I don't need the help. I can do this on my own. But I do have a good support network that is there for me. And I try to just remind myself that while I am able to mourn those things, I am grateful that I had them at all in my life. And that's really how I try to look at my life these days, and just be grateful for the experiences, because I do believe the universe gives you what you can handle. And as much as you feel like you're going to completely crumble under the weight of something, it always will make you stronger. You just have to believe that you have the strength to go through it.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Like, I firmly believe in that statement. Exactly. It's like that, you know, that's why certain people have it, like, say, harder, or have gone through certain things. And often people ask, like, why me? Why me? Like, I don't understand it. And it's because you can handle it. And it's like meant to put you on another path that maybe you weren't supposed to, in your mind, that you didn't think that you were going to go on.
I completely agree.
And like, but like, understanding that is really hard, and
it's
to still be positive
experience.
And optimistic after, like, loss.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not. And
it's easier to be a miserable asshole.
It is. And to take it out on the world, or to play the victim. And I think that all of those mental states are very human. After everything that I have lived in my life, I don't judge anybody anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to turn around after a breakup and turn into a complete whore, that's your business. But you also have to take accountability for the fact that, like, you can't blame everybody else other than yourself. Yeah. And I've lived that in friendships. I've lived that in family relationships. I've lived that in relationships. Like, those are all things that, like, when you become accustomed to the idea of love, and that love is unconditional, and it's not unconditional on both sides, it becomes a condition. Mm-hmm. And you set yourself on a path of constant disappointment because you're expecting yourself from others. And that's just not the world that we live in, right? A lot of us have big hearts, and it's okay that not everybody that we end up with in our life does. Like, losing my dad, losing my ex, losing my dog, like, those were horrific. But I think some of the hardest breakups that I've had are friendship breakups over the last couple of years.
Friendship breakups are really hard because there's a different love there.
Yeah.
There's this like this idea that the friendship really is like gonna be there forever.
Right.
Where sometimes relationships, even though you think it's gonna like they're gonna be your husband, you're still a little bit like, anything could happen.
Yeah.
I feel like anyway.
I mean, at this point, I feel like with our relationship experiences, that's a fair feeling to have, girl. That's a fair feeling.
That's where my mind.
When's the other shoe gonna drop?
Right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's having
that.
that to protect yourself in that. But with a friendship, I think there's like a different sense of vulnerability and trust that you have. And yeah, friendship breakups. I've like cried like a lot from friendship breakups, and ones that I never thought
were gonna
happen. Like, I've been in a bridal party. We were friends when we were, I honestly want to say like preschool. So we were like 3 years old.
Yeah.
I was her, maid of honor. I was like, what's it called?
that thing over there. Yeah, exactly.
That really big responsibility.
Yeah, that big one that you're supposed to like totally take 100% accountability for. Yeah.
Well, like I like helped, encourage her relationship with her husband, and then I was up there when they said their vows, and we don't talk anymore, and it's like heartbreaking.
It hurts.
It's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, my longest friendship was with a woman who I was friends with for over 25 years. I mean, like, there's 3 of us, and we all drew a heart at the 20-year mark, and we all got the same tattoo in the same place. And I'm not friends with either of them anymore because one just kind of fizzled out, and that happens in life, right? I think that we don't talk about that enough. Sometimes you just fizzle out and drift apart, and that's okay.
Right.
But with my longest friendship, like she was my soulmate, and like I genuinely believe that. I think that platonic romantic relationships are very important, and
for sure
I considered her a sister.
Yeah.
And again, I think there's always 2 sides to every story, and I hate how that friendship ended, most likely because of me, because she was with a partner that I just had no respect for at the time. And I got angry that he was still continuously hurting her and putting her through things that I didn't think she believed or she thought she deserved. And I was like, you don't deserve that. I look back now, and again, it's something I work through with my therapist, that like I asked of her to stand by me and staying with my ex through the experiences very similar to what she was going through more times than I can count. And then when she needed me to do the same, I didn't. And that was very hypocritical and wrong of me. And again, I'm the person that takes accountability when I make mistakes, whether it be professionally, personally. Like, I believe that's very human and very normal.
For sure.
And I think it's very mature to do that. But when our friendship fizzled, it took a piece of me, and like just as heavily. You know what I mean?
You didn't think like you can get back to like...
I think I've tried, but I think it would be restarting a friendship from that point, and we are now very different humans. Yeah. Right? So I'm friends with her family. She is an incredible human being. She's an incredible singer. She's an incredible soul. I just don't know if there would be an opportunity for us to rekindle, and I wish there was. But that's also something that, like, sometimes you got to just accept, like, you made a mistake and you have to kind of live with the consequences.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's
Thank
really
you.
tough. I've
Thank
also
you.
been the friend to hate a friend's boyfriend, and then had to, like, we had this whole, like, not talking, and then we worked things out, and, like, and then I like conversations with him, and they're married now, and like I adore him. Yeah. But like when someone does something shitty to your best friend, it's like, I want to freaking kill you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's.
But you also have to support your friends. Sometimes
you have to support your friends. Yes.
Sometimes it's not worth saying I'm going to kill you. You have to sit back and exercise the ultimate control and say, I'm here for you.
I'm here for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
No words of advice, sometimes no judgment, no, you should have done this, you could have done that. It is literally just your job as a friend, and I wish I knew this earlier in life as well, is to just sit there and say, I'm here.
Yeah.
What do you need to get off your chest?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times in life when we make those mistakes, and especially for our longer relationships, and I don't necessarily think that length of friendship means it's relevance or importance.
No, definitely.
I've met people that unfortunately I'm not friends with anymore because I disappointed them in a way that they just couldn't see past it, or like I developed feelings, because that happens a lot, right? I don't know necessarily about the straight world because I can only speak from my experience as a gay man, but like meeting guys it's very easy to develop feelings when you feel a connection,
For
right?
sure.
And I recently had this happen, and I kept trying to apologize and kept trying to address it, and it was just not a conversation that they were comfortable with having. And that,
Oh, that's so tough, because when you're friends with someone, it's like, is it worth crossing the line to say
yeah,
that?
and I mean, the funny thing was that it started off as a date in my head. It was
Yeah.
a date, and then I kind of got friend zoned, and then we just became really close really fast, and I loved spending time with him.
Yeah.
Like we just clicked really well, and then I unfortunately confessed, and that's intense.
Not
I am
unfortunately, don't say that, because
Valid.
it takes balls to do that, number
Right.
one. And number two, I just did an interview with somebody, and it was like, wouldn't you want to know than not know and live with regret? Like
Yeah.
it's so much. I would rather be heartbroken and take a chance
Right.
than not, and always just wonder.
Fair.
well, could've
Very,
been,
very,
should've been,
very fair.
you
I
know?
think the problem with that specific situation was that, like, I just kind of couldn't let it go as a topic, and I kept trying to have the conversation, and it was making him uncomfortable. And I had to realize I had to completely separate myself from that relationship, but unfortunately as well, the circle of friends that he's friends with, because I think I made it very uncomfortable for all of them. And that's not a nice situation to be in. And so, like,
No.
I lost obviously a very close friend that I only knew for a short amount of time, but also had to distance myself from his circle of friends because I didn't want it to be weird for anybody else.
Well, that's also how you heal and
Yeah.
like let those feelings go. Is
Yeah.
you have to distance yourself from the person.
Yeah,
for a
and I mean,
little
like,
bit.
they're all incredible men, and I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for the conversations and the interactions that we've had over the years. But again, I don't separate myself from people to hurt them. I do it to protect them. And that's something that I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think psychologically, that's also a trauma response, right? If you leave first, you don't get left. Like,
Yeah.
that's something to work through as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, making friends as an adult is really fucking hard. Like,
It is hard, especially because it's not like you have a workplace to go to.
well, this
every
is
day.
it.
This is the thing. Like, we're in unique scenarios where like it's like you're not really. It's really hard to meet new friends if you're looking to meet
Yeah.
new friends
And it's
with
fun-
what we do.
With what we do specifically. And I had somebody that's in this space as well, and we had very open conversation about friends. And I used to throw the word around a lot. And I think,
Like friendship.
yeah, like even like my sign on, like, I have my silly, like, hey, hi babes. Like, it's so,
Yeah.
but I used to say, hello, my beautiful friends.
Yeah.
And after that conversation that I had with them, I realized, like, I'm using that way too loosely. Like, you're not friends with everybody, Daniel. You're not everybody's online BFF. Like,
Yeah.
you can be acquaintances. Colleagues is not a bad term. And I think
No.
you and I both know this. We have a lot of colleagues. We have a lot of people that we know.
Oh
I
yeah.
say
The hard
there's-
truth is accepting that they're a colleague.
They're
and not a
colleague,
friend.
yeah. And especially when you think it's something bigger.
Yeah.
And I've tried to connect with people in our industry that just aren't open to taking on new friends. And that's totally fine.
Well, not for anything.
No.
There's a lot of kind of shitty people in our
Yes.
industry. There's
Yes.
more shit than there are good.
Yeah, and I think a
people.
lot of times I've had to come to terms with the fact that, like, because I am quote unquote established, I have a lot to offer to a quote unquote friend. And I'm very quick to give it because I trust by default. And I see very quickly when people take the contacts or the opportunities that I can offer them, and then I don't hear from them ever again. Or I never get invited to their events, or I never get considered to go out to dinner with them, or like, and I will constantly put in an effort until I'm not going to put in an effort anymore.
Yeah.
And that's, again, not malicious, but like, there's only so much times that I can try before I have to just be like, okay, this isn't actually a friendship. This is just acquaintances. And we will
Right.
say hi at events, and I won't take a photo with you because we're not that close, but like, you and I are going to take photos because we know each other outside
Yeah.
of this world,
Yeah.
right? We've made an
It's-
effort to know each other.
It's like putting people in buckets is what I have
Yes.
like described this as. It's like you can like have an acquaintance or know someone and, see them every now and then, and they're in this bucket. And then the people that you're going to cry to in the middle of the night when you're not well or you need help, you have this bucket of
Right.
friendship that you are going to like lean on. And,
That's exactly it.
and so just making that differentiation, I think, is really hard.
It's a very
because
hard
there's
lesson.
steps to like acceptance to
Yeah.
that, which is like disappointing a lot often.
Yeah, and I think especially like during or after heartbreak, it just adds to that fuel of like, you're not good enough, right? That
Yes.
you really want to connect with somebody, and then you do, and then it's not the same level, and then like, it for me, it always just makes me feel like I'm too much, right? I've been told that my whole life. I'm too much. I'm too intense. I think too much. I feel too much, and it's like, Well, no, I don't. You just wanted a little small version of me, and that's not who I am entirely.
Totally. And
right?
you don't want to be around people who even
No.
think that of you.
It's that girl who sings online, right? She's if I'm too much, go find less. And
Yes.
We're not going to sing on this show. We're not going to.
Yeah. We'll spare you all.
We'll spare you all. That's right. That's right.
But yes, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
And it's okay to be big and to feel big
Yeah.
and to be intense, because I don't think intense is a bad thing. I think it's been condemned online for so long.
Yeah.
That like,
and a lot of people, like, I don't know, like, I'm also a big personality.
I know.
And like a lot,
Yeah.
like I get that. And like, you know, people will say like, oh, you're so loud, or you're so, you know, like, I'm like, yeah, I fucking am.
Absolutely.
I'm a loud, happy, emotive, lively person.
Yeah.
Like, and I wouldn't want to be anybody else.
I agree.
But that.
I agree. And I think there's something to be said for having gone through the things that you and I have lived and not allowing it to change that about us.
Yeah, you're right.
Shows how beautiful we are as people.
Yeah,
and
we
that's like, I'm going to own that, because I know that like I'm not a perfect person, but I am a kind person. And I do good things for others without any strings attached, because I believe that that's just the way you should live life.
For sure.
I am not a transactional friend or colleague. Like
Yeah.
I amplify content all the time online of people that I love just because I love them. And I know how hard this world is
Yeah.
to work in the media, to find
Yeah.
opportunities, to be connected. And like, it's all about relationships, right?
For sure.
And I think the universe is listening when we do things like that.
I think so too. I mean, they say like, you know, when you put good out there, it definitely comes back. Karma is a real thing in every sense of life. I remind people all the time, I'm like, you may not always see it,
Right.
but it will come.
Absolutely.
Like the good things will come to you
Yes.
in ways that maybe you are not drawing your attention to or notice, but it does. And in the same way that bad things do.
Yes.
You might not see when the bad things happen, but they do.
And
They
that's
come in other ways.
Yeah. And that's why like karma's a bitch. We all know that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's going to come and get you whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why, as much of the mistakes that I've made online, both in my personal and professional life, I like to believe that I've put more good out and that more good will come my way. And I do believe that, right? Like there are a lot of people in this world, and I'm sure you have some people in yours as well, that would love to see us fail. And that is
for sure.
hard to not focus on sometimes, right? Especially when you're struggling and you're trying to go through something difficult. And like, you've got people actively saying bad things behind your back or actively trying to stop you and your career.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I'm going to just keep going, and I'm not going to focus on that. And we could name all the names right now. That's a different episode. But that's going to be the second book. Yeah.
Year of the Horse.
Yes.
We are channeling the horse. And
Yes.
what I say is like, you have the blinders
That's right.
on where you can only see forward.
Absolutely.
And I always say, like, when people ask me, you know,
Yep.
I'm just like, I just stay in my lane.
Yeah.
I just put my head down and I just stay in my lane.
I agree.
And
I
that's
totally agree. And all we can do is what was, again, these online, I'm such a motivational online content person.
You should see
but it
my
was like,
algorithm these days.
oh my God, me too. It's all about really cute guys, dogs, and motivational speeches. But it was all about like, you can't control what people say about you, but you can control your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a powerful lesson to have learned, because I have been, my feelings get hurt when things happen. I'm
Yeah.
still a human being. I know what people are saying about me. Like, this is the thing about people like us, is that we are liked. And people will always find a way to get that message back to us out of protection for us, right? It doesn't hurt me. Like, and people who want to work with me and brands that want to work with me throughout these messy waves of my life and my career want to work with me because I'm a human being, not a product. And that's
Yeah.
a beautiful feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you have like the confidence in that, because it's easy not to, and to feel the opposite of like insecure
Absolutely.
about that,
Yeah.
right?
Or unworthy of the success and the collaborations and the money and like all the things that we do behind the scenes that like I don't think people realize how hard our job is.
No.
Like,
and especially when you're trying to be authentic and vulnerable with it too. Like we were talking earlier before the pod even started. I have so many people like obviously giving me advice now,
Yes.
because it's like
It's a different
so
world
many things
now.
have gone
Yes.
bad.
Yes,
so
exactly.
you're doing something. And
Yeah.
I to recognize that. But I often get people saying like, you should stop posting pictures of boys on your Instagram, or like stop posting boyfriends. And
Why?
I'm
They're
like,
so lucky to be posted. You know what I mean? Like,
so
let's be
sweet.
honest. Like, let's be real here.
You're so sweet. But I'm like, no, like that was genuine to me. Like
Yes.
when I love someone, I love loud.
Yes.
And how I do that is to show them that like, that to me is like representative of like my happiness, how I feel. And that's what my presence online is. I am who I am. Like, and so why would I remove that?
It's also
just because
so strange.
I'm afraid that
Like,
things are going to go bad or
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take them down. Whatever. Like, it's the cycle of life. This is what happens.
exactly
But I'm
it.
not going to change how I feel
no.
to be worried
and good for
about
you.
what other people
because,
are going to
let's
say.
be honest, since you've started, you've always done that. So it's
Yeah.
why would you change something that you've loved doing that is authentically yourself just because you've reached an X amount of success or an X new level of accomplishment? I think that a lot of us in this world, especially those who've been around for a long time, sometimes lose our way from who we were, right? It's easy to evolve. It's also very easy to get lost. And I think that when you reach a certain level of success and financial accomplishments, you become this perfectly cookie cutter branded opportunity. And then everybody just wants the last viral thing that you did or the very last successful sales or the very last ROI that they just had. And it's like, I'm a different person every single day. And I will continue to evolve and be a different person. Like we're starting this year off, I'm still a content creator and a lifestyle expert. Maybe by the end of the year, I'm just an author. Like those are opportunities that I'm open to the universe giving me. And I think that we have to be more open to being open to change. Like stop resisting just because other people are telling you their opinions, right?
Exactly. And it's so interesting the power that we give other people to do that.
I completely agree.
When you in your heart know.
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly it. I mean, like look at our friendship. It was so happenstance, and now we've grown into this beautiful relationship that's just going to keep getting stronger and supporting each other. And like I'm going to obviously get you a copy of my book. I'm on your pod.
I want a signed message. Okay?
Duh. Okay, done. It'll all be about the queer experience on the dating show.
Amazing. I want it all. I want all the dirty
But like,
beats.
I think we look so quickly to the things that we've known and we miss so many things that we don't know. And that's such an important lesson as I've gotten older, especially in my 40s. I am so hyper-focused sometimes on like, this is the only way that I'm going to be successful. And it's like, nope, that's not life anymore. You got to be open to different things coming your way. Yeah.
I wish you all the beautiful things to come your way because you're so deserving of it. And I'm so proud of you for so many things. And I really appreciate you being so vulnerable and coming on here.
Thank you for having me. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
You're coming back too,
Absolutely.
right? Okay,
yes.
Perfect.
I love it.
One more time for people who are listening and watching.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
So I'm at Daniel Reyes-Cocka on all social media platforms. I have a blog that is currently being remastered, but it's called dothedaniel.com. And people can follow along with my adventures online and on TV.
Perfect. And when that book comes out, you're going to be sitting in this chair.
That's exactly right. And I'm going to be reading to you. It's going to be sexy. ASMR. We're going to do a little.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.